All right, I'm gonna wait for a few more people to come in before I get rolling, but I want to try to nail this quickly as possible. It's a lot to touch on, y'all. A lot. And I got some thoughts on some things. Some of y'all's questions kind of coincide with what the thoughts I have anyway, or the things I wanted to address. So so that's good. But yeah, man, let me start getting into this, man, because we got a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna start with KYLE McCORD, and like I said, y'all can chime in the chat. I'll try to get to as much as I can. And shout out to one of my page followers, Billy Langdon. Earlier, we had a nice little discussion. I don't think he responded to my last comment, but that also kind of sparked. I mean, it's not just him. I mean, this conversation is ongoing with the fan base with KYLE McCORD, and so look, just let me tell you like this, man. All right, so I'm a big fan. I love my Buckeyes. You know, I want them to win every game. I want to win 70-3 every game. All right, but what I try to do as I would say a content creator slash leader slash person who analyzes and tries to convey or at least speak on behalf of Buckeye Nation to some extent, I think it's my responsibility to analyze and look objectively and just basically tell you what I see and not just go off of emotion and feeling and frustration. Because to me, that oftentimes gives you an unclear picture of what's actually happening in the games. And so I'm saying all that to say, with KYLE McCORD and this Buckeye offense, it has been a mixed bag of just things stopping this offense from really getting to the level that we want them to get to. So, look, man, what I've experienced personally, this is for me personally, going back and rewatching the game after, you know, the emotion of the real time. Dang, man, like, man, we are struggling. Like, Kyle, you suck. Why did you throw that? Oh, man, we offsides again, or not offsides, but false start. Just the frustrations that we all feel as fans during the game. And let's be honest, we go into games, especially against certain teams, expecting a certain outcome or wishing for a certain outcome. Like, you know, to be able to put your feet up in the third quarter in a blowout, laugh, text, clown, you know, stress free. And when we don't get that, then it's like the issues that we see are even more worse because of our frustration, of our own expectations we set in our own mind. And I think in a college football season, you have to reset your expectations and actually understand that, listen, every game ain't going to be like that. So I'm just kind of laying the groundwork for y'all. Let me check the comments real quick. McCORD is growing. It's hard to replace one of the best in school history. Imagine the criticism if OSU was 4-5. Absolutely. And so before I go into some details about Kyle, and yeah, listen, I'm trying to talk to y'all like I'm trying to reason with y'all to bring perspective. What I always try to do is bring perspective because I say this all the time. I remind y'all how blessed we are to be Buckeye fans with the success that we've had. And there's an amount of spoiledness that comes with us. You know what I mean? With that. And it's just natural. But we have to be able to filter through that and balance things out to find that perspective unless you go from one extreme to the other. And so for your own fan mental health and, you know what I mean, and your well-being, all that stuff, man, that's what I'm trying to provide. Because to me, it's important because I preach this all the time as well. You know, I see fans post nothing but negative stuff. Certain fans on social media outlets, on message boards. I mean, they're the posters that just, they always post negative. But when something good happens, they know where to be found. I mean, some of them cats, you just can't. It's just what they do. But I know there are some who just want answers. They're confused. They're not sure how to feel. And so I'm just here to try to, you know, bring some perspective. Let me check these comments real quick. Tanya, the fan base is very picky too. We've been spoiled with the previous QBs. Absolutely. The standard is the standard. I hear you, Jason. I get you. I know you're pretty adamant, you know, about your stance. That's cool. But there's also nuance and perspective within that standard, brother. You know what I mean? So, and I'm gonna get into that. So yeah. So before the season, I said with McCORD, I was not expecting him to be on a Stroud level or Haskins or Fields level. And all I wanted from him was to run the offense, be smart, protect the ball, make the routine plays routinely, and grow and learn within the offense. All right. That was my expectation because looking at what I saw from him, limited game film, but still enough to glean that he has talent, but I don't think he's going to be on that level, at least not right now. So let me reset my expectations. And then on top of that, replacing 3 new O linemen, the 3 most important positions, center and the 2 tackle spots. Taking that, into consideration. So my expectations were already kind of set. I don't think everybody kind of did that. I think you got some people who are comparing him to Stroud in year 2 in the first season. You just can't do that. You can, but you'll be gravely disappointed if you do that. So anyway, I'm getting to that, Jason. I'm getting to that. So with that said, with Kyle in this offense, going back and rewatching the games, every game, like I'm obsessive with it. I go back and watch several times because it's kind of hard to watch every position group and every take. So I go back and watch position group by position group a lot of times and take notes and actually just look at what's happening. And then if I see something that is not quite familiar, I got, experts on deck I can lean on who are more proficient in understanding of certain positions and what's happening on this play, because we don't know everything. I love football. I know the game, but I know cats who are experts in the O-line and what's the scheme here. I can hit up Kirk Barton and he could tell me exactly what the lineman was doing or what he was supposed to do. So I'm looking into all of that to get answers outside of the emotion and frustration of the real-time game. And what I'm seeing is that every time, as frustrated and pissed off I be at KYLE McCORD in certain moments of the game, I go back and rewatch the game, and every time I'm just like, dang, like this, it wasn't as bad as I thought, going back and seeing the whole total 4-quarter game. And what I'm saying is, am I letting Kyle off the hook? No. Go ahead and be angry at KYLE McCORD. I don't care. I'm not letting him off the hook. What I'm saying is, for example, since it's recent in your memory, I was upset with G. Scott dropping that wide open pass across the middle. Kyle threw an accurate ball to him and he dropped it, killed the drive. Julian Fleming dropped the ball that would have set us up at least 3rd and short, killed the drive. Henderson, who played phenomenal, so this is not a knock on him overall, missed his blitz pickup on one drive and the man came in free. Kyle couldn't do anything. It was a wrap, killed the drive. Penalties from the O-line, or just missing assignment, killing drives. It's not just KYLE McCORD. Listen, like I said, Kyle, he upsets me in these games with certain throws he makes or decisions he makes, but then also he makes really good throws as well and other good decisions. We've seen him do it. So going back to my discussion with Billy Langdon on my thread earlier, I was basically saying that I believe Kyle can make throws that we need him to make. Why? Because we've seen him make them. He has made some really good throws. Now, he's made some bad throws too and some poor decisions, but we can't just not acknowledge the good. Like the Notre Dame game, that last drive. Yeah, he threw some passes that could have been picked. Sure, you can pick any QB in the country, from Caleb in USC and other Penix. They've thrown bad balls and haven't looked that great either and almost thrown picks. That's cool. But that last drive that he had against Notre Dame showed guts. He was throwing dimes under the biggest pressure you can imagine. So that's what I mean when I say he's capable. The issue is not his capability to actually make certain throws. It's his consistency and his confidence. And I pulled out the stats that Kyle Lamb on Twitter posted, and it shows you the like huge discrepancy between the first half and the second half of him, his stats. And it's just like, man, but I told y'all a few weeks ago in the press conference after the Notre Dame game, he talked about within himself his confidence and getting into a rhythm and finding what he needs to find to do this sooner than the second half. So it's a lot in between his ears. And listen, I said this also, everybody doesn't progress at the same time. They just don't. That's reality. And we have been spoiled. Again, this is not letting KYLE McCORD off the hook for what he has to improve on. I'm just trying to give you perspective, like facts and perspective. That game yesterday was not just on Kyle, y'all. You know what I mean? I tell you what, though, that second drive of the game where it ended in that dime he threw to G. Scott, that was a beautiful drive. beautiful mixture of run, pass. Kyle looked sharp. That was a great ball. Like, it to me, I can acknowledge the negative stuff. I can see that, but I'm also looking at the positives and the things we're building on, and like, okay, that's a step. The O-line has been playing a lot better too, y'all. Like, the run game is starting to come along. Let's not ignore that, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But let me look at these comments because y'all got them flowing, and I don't want to miss nothing. So let me see. Dang, y'all blowing this chat up, which is good, but it's a lot. All right, Herb Corbin. I don't think Day has adjusted to fit McCourt. He still plays for Stroud. We have big plays, but why does it feel mediocre from the snap? All right, so let me kind of address that a little bit too, because it's funny because people, talk about, okay, let's talk about the interception play. You go back and look at it. You see the all-22 screenshot, and you see that there's an underneath man that appears to be wide open. I say appears because it's hard in the screenshot to determine when did he release the ball, because sometimes guys come open after he released the ball or when he was already planning to throw it to a certain receiver. And then you look at the screen like, see, he was open, but was he really open at the time that you think he was? But anyway, it's funny that people call him check down Charlie and taking the short stuff, but then he takes the long stuff and he throws a pick. Now he should have put more air under it. But to the point about, calling plays for Stroud, like, I don't know about that. Like, Kyle has made throws across the hash that looked really, really good at times. He did that against Wisconsin. Like, go back and watch that game. He threw some nice balls across the hash that took arm strength and velocity and accuracy. And they were really good throws. Now, they weren't 70-yard touchdown bombs, so it's not going to make SportsCenter, but it was a really good throw. Again, he's capable. But, again, the inconsistencies is the issue with Kyle, not his capability. So, and you mentioned play calling. I'm going to go back to play calling because I think this is my opinion. I'm not saying Ryan Day is perfect with play calling. There's play calls I just simply don't like, and I'm like, I didn't like that play call. But I think one of the knee-jerk reaction, cliche things a lot of people like to throw out on message boards and social media when something doesn't work is the play calling was bad. But then again, when I go back and look, I'd be like, I really didn't have because even me, I even thought like in the moments at times that play calling was bad. But when I go back and review it, I'm like, no, I don't. It's not the play calling. It's the execution. Like if they execute these plays that are called, that's a first down or that's a touchdown. Like, it's not always the play calling. To me, I think that's a crutch that a lot of fans use in a knee-jerk way without really examining all factors. I'm not saying it's never the play calling, but I'm saying that's often the issue in my opinion. And I want to get to some of y'all's questions, but I think I might be answering some of y'all's questions as I'm talking. Michael Cassidy, we're still 9-0, and people still are complaining we knew McCourt was going to be Stroud or Fields. I've been following the Buckeyes a long time. Being an alumni again, 9-0. Yeah. Let me see. The average viewer doesn't watch the offensive line at all. I agree. And like I said, listen, when I played ball, and, I was nowhere near college play. I think I could have been if I would have kept going. I played wide receiver and safety. And so, my eyes gravitate towards that more so on the skill positions. So with the O-line, I know some basic stuff, but I got dudes on deck who can tell me who has a better trained eye and more knowledge about what they're supposed to do schematically, whether it be gap scheme or zone scheme and their assignments. Like I said, Kirk, man, shout out to Kirk Barton. He is a very, very good resource. Shout out to my dude, Dewan West, great resource. And my dude, Bus Cunningham, he was an All-American at Wittenberg, played offensive tackle. I got dudes on deck who can educate me. So look, if you really want to know what's going on, go back and watch, ask questions, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But anyway, let me look at y'all's comments again, man. I appreciate y'all bearing with me. I got a lot to get out. Steve Cherry, number 6 is average at best. B. Moses, let's be real. Who said I'm not being real? I mean, like, listen, Steve and others who say stuff like this. If you go back and watch anything I've said about Kyle, like, when have I pumped him up like he was just a dog? Like, when have I pumped him up like he was a first-round pick, right? Like, I haven't done that. I've kept it pretty real from the beginning. In the beginning of the season, I told y'all, like, these are my expectations. And they weren't Stroud level because I didn't see the talent quite yet to be able to say that. We just need him to take care of the ball, make the routine plays routinely, make the throws that are there, run the offense, be a field general. Like that's my expectation of him. So, I mean, we are, but again, like Michael Cassidy said, we're 9-0, and he's made plays we've needed him to make in clutch moments. That doesn't exonerate him from his issues, but you can't just act like that didn't happen either. Yeah, I'm trying to look at this at a level-headed, balanced way and said, "Oh man, he sucks." I mean, to me, that doesn't paint the whole picture, and I don't think that's a factual statement overall. When you look at his numbers, when you look at the plays he's made and spots that we need him to make, what's going on around him, players not catching the ball, not blocking, like it's not just on him. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and we are spoiled coming off of the number 2 pick in the draft. And it's just funny because some of y'all out there was spazzing on CJ, and I was one of the cats out here pounding the table saying you're overreacting. And some of y'all trying to act like y'all was always rocking with CJ, but you weren't. Some of y'all was calling for CJ's head, wasn't KYLE McCORD in the game. Remember that? So I'm going to defend logic and reason and what my eyes are seeing. I'm not just defending just because I'm a fan. I don't know. No, I want this team to win. I want the best people on the field. In my opinion, KYLE McCORD is the starter right now over Devin. I thought in the offseason Devin might be the better option. I don't think he was. I think the right decision was made with Kyle. And I think Devin has a chance to be really good, but they were both inconsistent, and Kyle was more consistent. He was the least inconsistent. But you know what I mean? It's just what it is. That's what we have to work with, y'all. It's just reality. So with our defense and with the skilled players around us or around him, we need Kyle to keep working at it, keep watching film, keep getting better. And that's all we can really hope for. You know what I mean? And but anyway, I'll get back to that more of that in a minute. All right. J. Lloyd Merchant Smith, it's never going to be easy, especially against Ann Arbor. We knew that 500-yard passing game were not going to be the norm once CJ left. I can't complain about McCourt in his first year as a starter. All right, let me see what else. Looking at y'all's comments, bear with me. I think he's good. James Story, he seemed like he's pressing to get the ball to Harrison and staring out the receivers too often. Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. He definitely needs to learn the nuances of the game, looking off the safety and all that stuff. And like I said, development is going to come slower for some others. Didn't Trey take a check down for 40 yards? Actually, he took a check down for 65, Charles Bird. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, man, it's always a balance, man. Like, yeah, sometimes maybe he doesn't go through his progression soon enough, but there's times where he should take the check down. You know what I mean? And that was one of those times. But hindsight is 2020. Let me touch on Henderson real quick. Because that's another young man at the beginning of the season. Y'all remember, I'm like, don't sleep on him. Some of y'all have written him off. He was not healthy last year. Some of y'all was dogging him, saying he's soft and all this other stuff. Now you see what he's doing. Also, remember the Notre Dame game, he was cheap shotted. Like, he reminded people that he was actually cheap shotted in a pile and broke his ribs. He still finished that game with broken ribs, y'all. So put some respect on that kid's name, man. Like, that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? The dude is a dog. And things can change. I mean, like, I forget what poster I was talking to or a commenter, but I was talking about the running back room next year and why Hayden is redshirting and how he could start next year and who would leave. And I mentioned Henderson leaving, and they said, where's he going to go? And I'm like, listen, he has a lot of talent. If he finishes this season strong, he can go to the NFL. And they kind of, and listen, they weren't rude or nasty about it, but they just were kind of not on it. Now look at him. Look at what he's doing when he's healthy. The commentators talking about short shot NFL guy. He looks like an NFL guy. It just takes a few games, y'all. Sometimes it only takes one game for you to bring it all together. We've seen this over the years, watching college football, a team or a player stepping up and just having a great game. And you're like, dang, where was this? Well, it all came together in this game. So that's why I'm not so quick to make broad brush statements all the time, like some others are. Because it's just, I've seen this too much to just do that so quickly without stepping back and analyzing a little bit and considering some other things and not just reacting from frustration, which is what a lot of fans do. Parker Fleming is a coaching liability. Should have been gone. I agree. He got to go, bro. He getting paid way too much money for our special teams to be, shaky, which is charitable for me to say that. All right. Let me look through y'all's comments, y'all. I appreciate y'all's patience. All right. Does anyone remember Joe Burrow at LSU during his first year? He was not great. I did a whole write-up on I think it was called I forget what I called it, but I talked about basically the truth behind the whole Joe Burrow and Ohio State connection, and I had quotes and stuff like that, basically laid out his career, and he was not great his first year at LSU at all. He was pretty average statistically, and they brought in a great offensive coordinator, and that team grew up a little bit, and he blew up. Anyway, let me see what else we got. Andre J. Smith Sr., what up, brother? We can win it all with Kyle, but it's going to take all 11 to execute. Kyle is a manager right now, not a superstar, and that's fine. The team is talented. Yeah, listen, I don't even think he's ever going to be a superstar. For those who are out there thinking I'm just caping for Kyle, like I'm just nah. I don't see Kyle as that at all. I think he has more talent than some of you give him credit for, but I don't see him as a second round, number 2 draft pick. I just don't. And that's okay. I don't think we necessarily need that, especially imagine if CJ Stroud had this defense. Imagine 14-0. We're not getting beat. So just saying, I want to get into the cheaters up north in a minute as well, because I'm kind of coming up on time here. I didn't want to go too long. But so people were asking about what happened, what's going on with Scum. So for those who don't know, the long and short of it is they were busted for flat out cheating. You cannot go to other stadiums and scout in person anymore. That's been a rule since the 90s. You certainly cannot record with devices, which they have proof of. They have footage and proof of. This is not speculation. They have the proof. Like, that's documented. Stallions chilling on Central Michigan sideline. Like, just all manner of goofiness. You got Harbaugh and the coordinators talking to Stallions on the sidelines in 4K. We can all see it. We see it. We see Stallions telling him what to call. Like, what are you talking about? I'm saying this because Scum fans are still acting like, oh, well, we don't know all the facts. Let it play out. And acting like it's not a big deal, like it's not an impact to the game. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Either you don't know ball or you're being intellectually dishonest if you're telling me that if you know what's coming, that it doesn't matter. Deion Sanders, who I love, I think was responding in a football bravado way in a pinch without really knowing all the context and the facts, because he was asked in the press conference when he's thinking about playing the team next week, another team next week. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know all the details. And so Scum fans have been using that cool, like, see, how you going to deny Deion? Like, listen, I don't care who you are. I got love for Deion. I got love for Jeff Saturday, but they were flat out wrong. You're not going to convince me or tell me that if you know what's coming, if it's a pass, if it's a run, or if it's a screen, like, y'all see that clip on Twitter where they show Hutchinson and Ajabo not biting on the play at all. They both immediately are in position to stop the screen that they knew was coming. You can't tell me that it doesn't matter. Like, stop it. Like, stop it. Like, it really pisses me off because it's just dumb. And you're a liar if you actually believe that. No, you're a liar because you don't believe that. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. So anyway, so kind of fast forwarding, the commissioner met with Ono, Mr. Scum fanboy President Ono, who's been just, we're going to push back and fight this. Like, dude, this is the biggest cheating scandal in NCAA history. What are you talking about? So anyway, rumor is Harbaugh is going to get some type of discipline. This is after the coaches met with the commissioner on a call and the ADs. And so they're furious, upset for obvious reasons. You're gaining a clearly unfair advantage, impacting games. You were clearly cheating. So that's the gist of it. For those who asked in the comments before I hopped on, that's a very, very summarized. This has been going on for the past few weeks. I've been following this crazy. So I got a lot of the details. But Scum fans keep trying to minimize this as if it's nothing, because they don't want to face the reality that They finally, in their minds, get off the schneid and beat Ohio State after losing for 2 decades and realize the fact that it's tainted. Oh, well, y'all just whining. You know, you got beat. Now you just trying to make no, like, dude, the evidence is there. I don't know to what extent, to what exactly plays you knew and what you would, whatever. All I know is you were stealing signs. You went to 8 of Ohio State's games. Let me explain this, because scum fans also try to say, this is for your scum fans. Oh, well, I heard Ohio State changed the signs before the game. Why did they go to 8 different games? It's because these teams, and go talk to coaches on teams, go talk to Kirk Barton, go talk to those who know. Even Zach Smith, they have several packages of signs. So in order to get all of those packages, you go to a bunch of different games. So if in the first quarter or whatever, they Stallions, whoever didn't, okay, well, that's not the right package. At halftime, let me go back and see and decode which package we stole that we should use. So when you come out in the second half, you can know exactly what signs they're using to be able to whisper to the coordinator on what to put your defense in or whatever. Like, come on, man. Like, go look at all the details before y'all just talk. It's all out there. So, listen, let me check this chat real quick and I'll circle back. But I just wanted to let y'all know what's going on so far. And the reason why these coaches are so upset and why fans are upset, because you can't get no worse than this as far as the integrity of the game. Like, man, if this wasn't scum, it was still, it don't matter. This is horrible. Like, this is the worst. The worst. Like, and y'all want to compare tattoos to this? That doesn't impact the game one iota? What, the tattoos give the players superpowers to run faster, jump higher? Man, come on, man. Anyway, let me look at this chat real quick. Let me look at this chat. All right. I mean, listen, Brian Mox, it cracks me up. People are calling him Honda McCourt to try and dig him. It's a funny name. It definitely gives me a chuckle. Honda McCourt is a funny name, but McCourt is super reliable. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Steve Cherry. So the cheaters up north actually believe they orchestrated this whole thing. Thank you for bringing that up, because that's another thing, y'all. Like Zach Smith, shout out to Zach Smith and Chris and Minister Sports. But Zach on his show came up with the story. He basically taunted and put it out there. Like, he basically said, watch this. He said, watch this with the usher, and said, I'm about to get these scum fans. I'm about to troll them and watch them run with this. And that's exactly what they did. Like, they have nothing. There is no truth to this Ryan Day story at all. There's not. They're literally being petty and childish to lash out because of what they're going through. And they're blaming everybody else but themselves. They're still, look at Steve DeAce's goofy self talking about it's a psyop. It's a psyop on Twitter, long Twitter threads explaining why it's a psyop. Come on, man. Come on. It's just stupid. Like, I'm losing patience with these fans. It's just ridiculous. You can't reason with them. All right, vacate. Terry Carr, yeah, they better come off them wins. They better vacate all them wins. If Ohio State had to vacate wins because of tattoos, man, get out of here. Get out of here. All right. Let me see. If y'all got anything else, I want to make sure I didn't miss nothing that I ain't touch on. Oh, yeah, Brandon Michael Woods, what up, brother? I see you asked something about the defense. So, listen, I thought this was interesting. Regarding giving up the rushing yards we gave up and why he kept some of the safeties back and didn't load the box. Couple things. One thing I noticed in the game and one thing Noah said after the game. One, first of all, we know Shiano's going to throw the kitchen sink. Shiano's going to pull out all the stops. He's not going to play it safe. He's going to try to win, as we clearly saw with the fumble Ruski and him breaking tendencies. The first play of the game, deep shot against Matthews, the freshman. You see that? Well, Rutgers is not a passing team, but they was on that play out the gate. Also, tendencies they broke is that they were passing on downs they don't typically pass on. All right. So there's that. But also, Noel said after the game that he told his team before the game that we're going to give up some rushing yards, but it's going to be better for the whole of the scheme of what they were trying to accomplish. Basically, what he was saying is they weren't going to let that running quarterback get outside of their defense and lose content. And so the way he aligned his defense was to make sure he didn't go crazy. He had an 80-yard TD run earlier this season. I mean, the dude, I'm not saying, he's Braxton Miller, but he can kill you if you let him. So that was his game plan. And, we gave up some yards. I also think from them holding the ball and running the clock down, it was a mixture of that and the defense just being tired. But they bowed up and they held them to one touchdown, and the rest was field goals. So it is what it is. The defense is still really, really good. But, yeah, we never like to see them move down the field running the ball and seemingly push us back in certain spots. You never want to see that. But that's a little bit of context or a perspective on what happened with that. Let me see what else, y'all. Again, appreciate y'all's patience as I'm trying to get through all this, man, because it's a lot, man. Oh, also, Brandon Michael Wood, you mentioned Henderson, and I guess you had a problem with run up the middle. Have you been seeing how he's been run up the middle? We've been gashing. He's been running either off tackle or up the middle, and he's popped some plays running up the middle. Go back and watch the games. The line, this is the other thing I want to hit on, y'all, because we've been complaining about the line. The line has struggled a little bit in pass pro lately, but they've been doing a lot better in certain run plays. They've been blowing cats off the ball on certain plays. When Henderson is fast and he gets through the hole faster, but the hole is there. They're doing a really good job of getting better and progressing. So we just can't just negate that. Go back and watch, man. I'm encouraged by the run game, by some of the stuff that I've been seeing. So I have no problem with Henderson being ran up the middle. I just don't want it to be predictable. Just make sure that you're not doing it in a predictable way. Mix it up a little bit. That's my only thing. But we've had some recent success with that. So, yeah. All right, so Todd Hall, how much improvement? I'm gonna wrap this up in a few minutes. How much improvement can we expect in the next 2 weeks prior to School Up North from the offense? All right, we got Michigan State, who's a bad team, at the crib at night. And we got Minnesota at the crib, too. So, I mean, we got to look to really turn it on, man, in these next couple games and bring it together. But also, here's the thing, man. These boys want this scum game badly. They want this scum game badly. Everything holding guys out that could have played, it's all coming down to this scum game. Not only do they want it badly because obviously they lost last year, but they also found out the win was tainted. Scum has been cheating. They have. You can't deny that. So people want to talk about how scum is going to come together because they're pissed off. Scum against the world. Well, what about the teams that got cheated? What about Ohio State? What about them boys that feel like, you know what? Yeah, we could have played better, but they also had an advantage, a clear advantage by cheating. So I know if I was in that locker room as a competitor, the competitor that I am, I'll be pissed off. You know what I mean? And now rolling into the big blouse with a top 5 elite defense and a secondary who is way better than last year's secondary, you got to feel like they're confident in this run game coming together and just need Kyle to play his best game. Don't lose the game for us. And I believe we're going to go in there with a really, really good game plan because I believe there's stuff that we haven't showed yet. I believe Ryan Day really, really, really wants his game, obviously. So it's a mixture of continuing to get better these next 2 weeks and having your heart and mind and set on that game. You know what I mean? So I know some people want to throw in the white towel right now or wave the white flag as if, we just can't beat them. I wasn't that impressed last night, y'all. That was the first time they didn't cover all year, and that was against 2-7 Purdue, who we beat at Purdue, 41-7. They beat them 41-13. And when they still taking shots in the fourth quarter, I turned it after that. I wasn't that impressed. You know what I mean? Now, what's the chances of them not covering the spread against a 2-7 team for the first time all year after their Stallions ringer is not on the sidelines? Makes you think, right? Also, don't sleep on this, man. Scum has been struggling to run the ball. They're not running the ball as efficiently as they did last year. They have not played anyone. They have not beaten anyone. Am I saying they're complete trash? No. They have talent. J.J. McCarthy, he makes me nervous when he scrambles because he's athletic and he can throw well in the run. That's my number one concern with them. But they're not this world beater, y'all. They can be touched. They can be beat, and they have not beaten anyone. So let's see what Penn State do in Happy Valley next week. But we coming up on 40 minutes, so I don't want to go too long, but I want to try to get maybe one more question in or one more comment in if I can. CJ just drove 80 yards in 30 seconds for winning score. Nice. I was looking at the my score app. I'm glad CJ pulled it out, man. Let's go. Bob Cody, CJ was cheated twice against Scum. I mean, like, I know it's kind of hard to fathom, but that is the reality, y'all. Like, we have to kind of reevaluate a lot of stuff, man, with this cheating scandal. If we just do. Like, you can't play it down. Yeah, Tanya Shepard, if they won the bowl games they went to, then they will be more said about it. As a reason why the matchups caught up at the race. Yeah, they got blasted by TCU. They came back towards the end, but they was getting worked by TCU. You know what I mean? It's just like, man, look, the word is we're supposed to hear more tomorrow. Tomorrow or Tuesday, we should get more word about an update of what's going on. I'm going to end with this. This is what should happen. These last 2 years vacated. Come up often wins. Done. Right? Bowl bans, scholarly reductions, heads got to roll. Harbaugh got to be gone. The coordinators got to be gone. And this is not even discussing what's been found on their hard drives and what the FBI found and the rumor about the practice footage. If that's true, bruh, this ain't even close to, like, I can't really. That's not been proven yet. But at this point, would you put anything past them? But meanwhile, they're trying to point at Ryan Day, blame Ryan Day and Ohio State. Man, go ahead somewhere with that, man. I hope Penn State knocked him off. I'm just hoping nothing drastic happens to where they don't let this game be played. I want them to play the rest of the regular season. I want that game up in Ann Arbor. Don't cancel the regular season. Cancel their postseason, but not the regular season. Let them play it out. That's just me. I know people disagree with that, and that's cool. And if they do, which I don't think they will, fine. But I want them to finish out the regular season. Let's see how y'all do without cheating. But anyway, yeah, TCUN fans, the Cheaters Up North fans are delusional. Like, it's all, they come off like cult members. And I know people think that's harsh, but not all of them, because I got some cool Blue fans who are like reasonable. Shout out to y'all. But 98% of them, cult. That's how they act with this. It's ridiculous. So anyway, glad y'all jumped in with me, man. I'm about to hop off here. I'm gonna upload this to the Buckeye Scoop platform when I get a chance. But much love, respect. Leave a comment. Anything I missed, circle back, whatever. But we 9-0, y'all. 9-0. There was a lot of people. Way too many people said we're gonna have 2 losses by now. Have a 3-loss season. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, don't count your blessings, y'all. Count your blessings, man. Like, we just keep winning, and we take that for granted. So, but anyway, all right. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.